you, welcome to Geekism, and welcome to Fairview Lake, our challenge mode park in Planet Coaster 2. In the last episode, we built this sort of accidental stand-up coaster. I just thought I was building a hyper, but I put guests on it to get a thumbnail, and I was like, oh, they're stood up. I think that's okay. It's only just gone out as I'm recording this, so I haven't had any feedback saying, no, this couldn't possibly work as a stand-up coaster. I probably couldn't. Maybe it's a bit too big, but we'll see. I can also turn the settings on and maybe change these out afterwards, but, you know, this isn't really the core sort of reason for this series. It's mostly just sort of playing in challenge mode and enjoying the time in the game. So for now, I'm happy with it. We'll leave it as is unless it's so egregious that people let me know about it. Still got a lot of cleanup to do in the 90s area here, but I do want to start sort of trying to box this in a little bit. And the way we're going to do that is, as I mentioned previously, we're going to go for a little bit of a western area, starting with a little western sort of street here up to I think we'll try and make this look a little bit like a mine coaster. I'm thinking a little bit like Yukon Striker kind of vibes, especially with the raised station there. That's definitely sort of vibe I'm getting from it. So that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to place the entrance on the right of the place here, and the exit on the left here, and then we'll start connecting the path up. All right. So I think we'll come straight this way. So about there, and then we'll turn these around into a little bit of a cattle pen. And then we need to start bringing it down. So probably go something like this. That's a bit too steep. Oh, that's actually the wrong way completely. That's fine. And then I think we do another another cattle pen here that we could pretend can get locked off. And then I think we'd like to start to come back down again. This thing is really high up, eh? Maybe we can lower it and mess with the terrain a little bit. Maybe that's what we've got to do, because this is going to take us forever to get to the ground with decent angles. Okay, let's do that then. Let's take this and all of this path. Oops. There we go. And shrink it down to a more acceptable yet still raised height. That's probably fine. And then we'll do a quick bit of terrain work. Push. So where's the lowest point is probably going to be over here. Let's find the track. There he goes. And then go. Awesome. And I think we'll probably take the whole thing out. And then here we can get away with doing some softer options, I think. We're getting a little close to the go-karts there, but that's fine. The go-karts certainly aren't set in stone in any way. I'd rather the coaster be in a position I'm happy with. We do have to move this stuff as well at some point. These ride signs, they're no good there. Okay. So how do we do this? I must close it. Sure. No, absolutely nobody has ridden this, by the way. Like, not a single person has come to check this thing out. How do we squeeze this in? I still want like a lot of fun interaction. Maybe that is doable. It's probably a little close on the other side there, but this can come right up to here. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. We'll just have to... Oh yeah, I forgot we built this. Let's take that there. That's fine. And then we'll have to move this. It's snapping somewhere. There it is. Okay. And then we will delete these paths. Boop. And then we can go back in with the queue. And I do think we carry on with that idea that we mentioned before about a building that they sort of come in and out of for the queue line here. I think that's good. And then path off the ride. For now, we can just, oops, to here. Actually, would like it to be straight for a change. So there. There we go. And then we'll paint all that up when we get to it in the future. Okay. Back to terrain then. And let's just bring that back up as best we can to there. Is that okay for the ride? It looks like it is. Okay. Good. And obviously all of this, we'll take this out to a tree line. Probably at the edge of the park, tree line, that will be fine. Okay, let's carry on back here then. So, path, queue. And I know that, I feel like, oh, that was wrong, sorry. I feel like this is way too much queue line for this ride, but I just feel like realistically this is the kind of length it would have. Or something like that. Too steep. Okay. Curve it around to here, and that's going to be front of the line. There we go. Yep, that's a lot of queue, but I actually think it's fairly short, really, in the grand scheme of things. As far as the exit goes, probably put a corner on that. Corner there, and then let's just delete that bit. There we go. And then it's pretty steep down this one as well, isn't it? Oh, maybe we can come here and do something fun. That's pretty good. Then curve. Okay, don't dislike that as a layout. Obviously, we'll have to tweak it all to make it work. But as a layout for the queue line, I don't mind that at all. Okay, we'll come into this queue Let's make it look a little nicer. So we'll go rustic path, railings on. The wooden beam, the gaps are a little too much. The metal park railing is quite nice. Let's have a look what that looks like. Yeah, I think that with a more acceptable colour is probably fine. We'll go for a nice sort of coppery colour. Yep, that's good. Okay, so with our brush size, we'll go up a little bit, make sure we get it all in. Okay. Yeah, don't dislike what it's doing there. Like this will probably have to change, although actually no, it's probably not too bad either. I do want to make it so it looks like it's this, both this and this is sort of chop-offable with terrain. Chop-offable? As a new word. Okay, so rustic path with railing and that colour. This should all match as well. There we go. Oh, we just missed that one bit there, look. Oh, and another bit just there, look. Boop. Alright. And there, look. That's weird, eh? Boop. There we go. Yeah, it's struggling a little bit with the shape of the walls here. Let's see if we can neaten that up. That's probably a little better. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Or that. I just don't want that at all involved in that one. They're just connected, eh? Let's just pull them out of the way for a minute. Okay, here we go. Now we can work with what we've got. Nope. There we go. Drag you into there, and drag you. Nope. Don't want to go there. No, 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 no. Is there a thing for stopping that happening? There isn't, is there? Just really wants to. Really wants to snap to it. Well, that's it then. That's the shape of the path there. Okay. Good. Yeah, and I'm just gonna like flower this in with maybe a little bit of a water trough or something, but otherwise that's gonna be good. And then we'll have like a main street that comes up. So this is going to be the end of the 90s area right here. That tree dictates the end of the 90s area. We'll do a food something here, food or something arcade or something, and then here then we're going to start to open up into a new area. So I mean, maybe the brick, it's quite nice if we take the edge off it. It's a little garish, but without that it's pretty good. Or maybe actually we look at a we look at having a second run of it. So let's do this. Let's go from, actually that is fine from there actually. I want to keep this fairly straight because we're going to go for Western style buildings. Okay, I like that. I don't want the curb on though. We'll delete this. Okay, yeah, so far that's fine. I'm going to come into here. Do the same on the other side. Have it a little bit more open this side. And we'll take it to there for now. And then we'll stamp with merge off. Let's see. More of a dirt path, really. What does sandy path look like? I actually quite like that. How do we make it happen so that there's no border on it? Is it because of that one? Or is it just going to always do it because it's a natural path? There's also that. But again, that's still doing it. Maybe that's because the path foundation is off there. Yeah. Maybe that then. Oops. I think that's the way we go. We fill all of this in. There we go. It sometimes goes a little funny, but for the most part, that's fine. Okay, and we'll probably have to do something here in the middle, I think, but for now, that's nice and open. Okay. So let's do this texture. Let's see if we can neaten all of this up. So let's try drawing it. No, that's fine where it was, sorry. Line straight, there we go. Snap to there, snap to there. And I think all of this needs to be it, yeah. Sure. Probably to at least over here. Although it may well end up being something different. Now we'll turn... Oops. Now we'll turn... Oh, did we lose that? Because changing that? That's annoying. Because changing straight to curve doesn't usually affect it. Okay. So now we'll take this here. This big curved edge. Oh, jeez. Alright, let's go backwards with this. So there to there. Okay, what's that done to everything? Alright, that's not too bad. We can definitely clean that up. I do think we maybe carry the brick on into this and maybe just keep the queue line as the rustic. This is going to be an episode where all we do is put down path. Yeah, I think that's nice. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Okay, now can we... Actually, we could bring... Where is it? If we do that, does it... Yes, it does reduce all of the guff underneath it, but not curbs. So curbs on, railings on. Yeah. If we do that... and it isn't quite doing all the big fat underneath it. I think it is doing is giving us, because the foundation is off. So if we turn off curbs, we just have to redo all of this. Is it going to do that thing where it puts a line there as well? Yeah, okay. Well, we know how to deal with this. We've done it before. This is basically, we're just going to swap out the curve. I mean, also, I don't hate the darker line. Let's see if we can neaten this edges up here. There we go. That's fine. And then here, doesn't let me do one. Okay, if we just do that and then take it back again. Okay, that actually worked. Oops, not quite that much. There we go. Okay, and then probably the same here. So actually, I don't mind that, but are we going to be able to replicate that on this side? Yes. We just have to like that, and then we can smooth it. Oh, look at that. That's great. I mean, a happy accident there, absolutely, but I don't mind that at all. Okay, so we'll finish up with copying this texture and then just neatening all this up. So is this one we do want the foundation on then? Yeah, okay. Take the curve up it all, there we go. Okay, good. And then what's happening there? Oh, it's just because it's raised ever so slightly, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Let's move that over a little bit then, just to help with that. And I did notice a little gap here before. I'm sure you were all screaming at me about that. There we go. And there we should... no, we still need to do this bit. Okay. It's probably going to be easier to make this bit work before we try and fill in the gap. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. And for the most part, keeps its shape nice. There we go. And again, not too sure what's happening here. It's probably going to need a building. This is a big open space. We need some sort of drinks place or something there. But for the most part now, we can sort of start to box in this queue line. And I want to do that with some western scenery and lots of wood and some like watery stuff. I think will look quite good. So let's go to our terrain, push it down, bring the size right down. That's fine. But then we'll flatten here. Because all I really want is a little bit of water in here. Which we should be able to do, hopefully. Yeah, that's fine. Can we go one higher? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, that's where the water goes. Well, that's fine. Okay. And then we need some rocks. Okay. So I think we just custom rock this, because then we can be a little bit more selective about the colour. And I think actually this sort of reddy colour is probably what we want to do. We never actually got the sort of desert rocks, did we? This island rock, what's that? That's really quite dark, isn't it? They were pirate, I think. But yeah, I think with this custom rock, the colour already looks about right, but it's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not going to be able to cover up the Planko border with these rocks. I have been doing that actually, funnily enough. I've been doing something very similar to this, to be honest with you, in Meanderville this week. But in Meanderville, I can take 6 hours to do something like this. Whereas this would not be a very fun 12-episode arc if I was to spend that much time. So we're actually going to do this fairly rough and ready. The only thing I really don't want to try and do is take up too much of that water that we've just added in. So we'll try and keep it knocked back as best we can. That looks fine. There's definitely certain rock pieces that lend themselves to this kind of thing. This is one of them. As long as it's not poking through the path. There you go. You start to learn the shapes of the rocks and then know what they have to sort of follow to work. Lovely. And just one more. Let me think about this. Yeah, that should work nice. Okay. Take that there. Bring it up. And just make sure it's not clicking through. Doesn't look like it is. Excellent. So that's really all I want to do there, honestly. This side will probably wall it off with some brick. And make a... Oops. We'll spell brick right, first of all. And then we'll make a pillar of sorts. Like a fence of sorts, sorry. So let me have a look at the brick options right now. There's this one. There's that one. And then there's rough brick. I mean, rough brick, actually, is probably quite fun, especially in a more ready colour like this. Yeah, let's go rough brick then. Okay, so we'll use you, but then from you we need a little bit of a trim on the top of you. So it's, we're going to try and keep it pretty simple, I think, because it is just going to be hiding for the most part. That's probably fine. Just needs to be a warmer colour. That's better. Yeah, lovely. And on top of that, we need some like wrought iron. Let's see, there's lots of iron pieces, and there's obviously iron bars that we can use. It'd be quite nice if there was just a fence that kind of worked here. I think the western fences they gave us, they're quite rusticy western. I mean, this could actually work. Let's see. Like it's quite nice. If it wasn't as quite as spiky, it would probably be perfect. Yeah, I think the western leathers like this one. What else did western give us? I think they were all kind of like that, really. Low western, that is. So going to W, wooden, Viking. Yeah. Western. Oh yeah, this sort of classic wood one, which, I mean, the wooden bars there probably aren't too bad, like the wooden beams, sorry, but I think we need to go for more of a stone look for this. So this resort balcony, I wonder if there's a piece that we can use as a pillar off the back of that. That one is metal, right? So look at it, yeah. There's this wall trim corner. It's got a weird little top on it. Or there's this one. That actually shrinks down pretty good. I don't hate that one. And if we take it to there, then we could do some raw iron on top of like every second one of those or something, like a lamppost. I actually don't hate that. Okay, so I just realised that we've got, I don't think we're actually in a building here, so let's put those into a building, or a scenery group at least, and then bring them in. There we go. And then we can just sort of do this, make it work for us. Okay. I think this is going to work. Tricky bit is going to be that we kind of need to join up like that, which might be tricky on a curve. But I think as long as this is lined up, the rest will probably all sort of flow together. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, that is absolutely fine and dandy. The gizmo's having a bit of trouble with it. Seems to move every single time, but that's okay. Actually not that far out. It's actually much milder curve than it originally looked like. There we go. I'll just line that up just right. Okay, and then here we might have to get a little bit clever with what we do. We could probably just turn the in-game fence off from like here and just treat it and just use this fence for a bit. Wait. That could work as well. For now, I'm actually just going to leave that and worry about the other side. See here, look, the gizmo is just right. It's exactly where we want it to be. For some reason, when you duplicate it, it goes a bit wild. Might have to come in and clean that up. Yeah, this doesn't really need much of a curve to it, and look at that, almost like we meant it. That's going to fit just nice there. Awesome. So there. It's actually not sticking through, it's just a gap where the wall doesn't meet. That one I think is sticking through, yeah, so we'll just pull that forward a little. Okay. Yeah, I like that, that's cute. And then, so what I was thinking is like we could have. I wanted to say Gold Rush. I'm thinking that's the name we go for. Tie it into the Western space, and I kind of want each letter to be like on a pole. I did say I would never do lettering on on camera, but I maybe just do the first couple to show you. Because I think we're going to have to go for quite a long, almost like an impact kind of font is what I'm thinking. So this piece is basically your meat and veg when it comes to lettering. Pretty much does everything you want it to do. So actually, for some reason, we're in a separate, we're in a different group. So let's there. You always want angle snap on. You always want to build these flat, and you want to build them on the world axis so that when it doesn't line up, it's a little easier to get lined up. So that's why I'm building it over here right out of the way. I also often don't really worry too much about scaling until it's done. So we'll build in a relatively solid scale. This is scaled at 31 right now. It's probably going to have to go smaller, but that's fine. Just remember, when you're adding a new piece to this, be on the scale mode when you come to do it, because it'll bring in the new piece at the right scale as well, even if it's a weird color like this one is. And then also bear in mind that, annoyingly, some of these pieces, the actual thickness of the piece is different. So here you can see that actually that needs to come down to somewhere like that. And I think that's probably okay as a height. Let's see. The main thing with this one is we've got to make sure we've got enough to do some interesting stuff with serifs like there. We can do it G. That looks good to me. Okay. Now, also, always work smart, not hard. An O is just a G that's linked up. So there we go. There's your next one. All right. And then you guessed it. The L is actually fairly separated. So we'll make an L real quick. Actually helps to do it on a terrain like this where you've got some something to work from. You can sort of see how long the shapes are going to be. Try and keep the thickness of them about the same. So this is 2 of those wide. I mean, you can even bring that over and see. Like, really, that L wants to go to there. But then also, that doesn't necessarily mean it's right. That to me now looks like it's just too long for an L. So actually we're going to go and bring it in a little. Yeah, I think actually the one piece is fine. And then the D is going to be half of a O. Now here, I could shrink these down to multiples, but now this is, see how you start getting that sort of developing design. Like you just start to see the stuff sort of starts to fall out and look right, and serifs, meaning the little fiddly bits here that sort of stick out from letters, is very very Western. Like there's a lot of that sort of stuff. So now we've got that on the D. We'll actually bring that over and copy it. Start to copy it. There you go. That instantly looks more like what we need to go for. There won't be any of that on the O. There would maybe be a bit here on the G. I don't know if we're going to be able to work that in without resizing stuff, though. Yeah, I think, yeah, it might just be okay without it. Gold. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then actually, like, that needs one there as well, doesn't it? Gold. So maybe this does need it then. Do we take that up? Yeah. So what we're going to do here then is bring in a third piece. I'm going to be on the scale again, but this time we'll do a square. You can see that is the exact right size because it's doing that awful clippy thing. Again, once the colours all match, it won't really matter. And then just the gold, does it look like that? Not sure if that's quite right. Let's just make them all a nice red to match. No, that's not right for the G. A little easy to work with in white. So do we just do? I think that is right. I don't know. There's probably. Oh, I know what it needs. I know what it doesn't have that it needs. It needs the G to come down here. That's it. That's it. There we go. Yes. Okay, that's good. It's still not quite perfect, perhaps, but with the confinements of what we're trying to do here, I think that's actually spot on. Okay, well, go on then. We're already in for a penny. Let's carry this on. So, let's not select path. What have I got there? Oh, the whole thing. I'm not in the building. Okay, now I am. All right, so R is going to be very similar to the D. Oh, sorry. Also, apologies for laughing at the D. I'm a child. Let's bring that up to there. Let's take these. Oh, let's take that one over. Basically to there. It can't go too far. And then this comes up to meet that. And we come down to join that. So then this has to be our old square buddy over here that we've used on the G. Okay. To neaten that up. Okay. U is nice and easy. It's basically a O with the top cut off. Take both of these up. Chance that two of these go in it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. S usually needs a bit more work than you'd think, actually, but we'll start with these. Take these out because this gives us the sort of shape of it. But then what you find actually is where you would think you want to start to bring an S down, and it often ends up being too big. So you have to do a little bit of cleverness with it. Alright, so I'll put those in there. These two, that's where it's handy about the grid look. We have to kind of find like a middle ground. We might have to just make the S a little bigger than it wants to be. Okay. And then I don't think we're able to get these in. Maybe we are. Let's see. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's just too big. Yeah. And then you'll see here, look, that sitting as far out as the bottom doesn't look right either. That has to shrink in. There we go. And then the H is pretty easy. Just going to take the strips from here. Alright, and then that's how you do it. So obviously that's huge right now, so we're going to shrink it down. There you go. And I mean, it's still going to be pretty big. You know, it's a ride sign. Kind of wants to be a decent size. Let me just duplicate it and have a look. Because I want to keep it on the grid for as long as I can. It really does help. Although for the most part, if you're just doing a single plane like this, it should work. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. In fact, let's just lock it in. That's good. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is take each letter and kind of like Hollywood sign it a little bit. We'll leave the O. We could actually leave the D, but no, we'll do that a little with it. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a little subtle shift in some of them. That's great. I actually want them red, what we could do, actually, is bring out a second layer in black. Just drop that a little bit. There you go. So you get a nice shadow on it. That looks pretty good to me. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm just wondering whether it needs another one, but I actually don't think it does. I think it looks pretty good like that. Okay. And then I want to go into like some of the... so there's actually pirate scaffolding. Yeah, like this stuff that I think, with a bit of work, will look a bit... We can make look a little westerny. Sort of... Like it's a mining area. It's kind of what I'm thinking. So we do something like that. Now this one, if I remember rightly, is quite a bit bigger. Might be a little trickier to do. As long as enough of it is making content that it makes sense. It's actually much more crooked than I thought, but that's okay. So as long as it's not making terrible purchase, we can make it work. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's good. I mean, the fidelity of the stuff is really quite poor. But it's the exact sort of thing that I want it to be, you know? Like, I suppose we could rebuild it using all the new pieces. I'd like to delete that for a second. Like, we could rebuild it using all the new pieces, but I think it's good, you know? Might not be perfect, but it's just what we're looking for. Oops. Oh, I'd like to try and select all of that, none of that. There we go. And maybe the trick is actually to sort of paint the sign here around the letters. Still from the front reads well. That's good. And then yeah, I think actually that is the way to go. That is the way to go with this as well. There we go. Move that back there. Don't mind that. Yeah, that's actually, you know what, the little sort of crookedy nature of that really sells it, I think. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And then, so we've got the Gold Rush sign, and then really want to lean into like classic sort of cheesy Western. So let's just turn the Western scenery theme on and see what we've got. I'm thinking like the water spout stuff, you know, the water, I don't know what they call them, water troughs, these things, water towers. Like one of those here. What's the smaller one? That's the smaller one. The smaller one's actually more fun. It's got this spout on that we can totally squirt some water out of. So we can make this work. Let's see. We go there. And then if we can get this water spurting like up and over that. Oh man, the draw distance, the LODs on this stuff is insane. Special effects, water. We'll remove the scenery for a second. Okay, what we got here? I can never remember which of these is useful. Water jet large. Yeah, and it's basically what we need. Let's see. Line to surface on. Okay, where's that go? Oh, too large. Medium. Oh, geez. I mean, it's perfect. Like, it's exactly where it needs to go. Right into the splooshy water there. That's awesome. And then we hit it with one of these where it lands. Say actually upside down might be better. I just wish we could turn these off. Maybe something like that and then hide it that way. Yeah, that's good. At least it makes a bit more sense. Yeah, it would be really nice to be able to turn those off, or like only have them visible when you're editing them. That's great. Probably the only other thing we have to do, I mean, that's just very climbable for an idiot. So let's pull this path away from there just a little. Just to remove the temptation. Obviously, I know in the game it doesn't actually happen, but there we go. Instead, we'll just come around here a little. That's fine. There we go. And then at least it's just away from the fence enough that it's considered. You know, we've considered it as a thing. Okay, let's see what cactus we have, because cactus I do feel would grow fine here. They are for the most part pretty hardy anywhere. Appearing plants that far away, I mean, just come on, man. And I do think this is the sort of thing that they would. You can do this without much work. You know, these things will, for the most part, look after themselves. And they look good. And I think we have, yeah, this bison skull. Man, this thing's, I need like 30 of these. There you go. That's something to look at. The big problem here I think we're going to have is that we can't really paint it sandy. I think pebbles is probably okay. Looks a bit gross, actually, which I don't hate. There we go. And then I'm also seeing here we have a little bit of rock poking through, but to be honest with you, we can kind of make that work. If we go back to the rocks, it's the sort of thing we're probably going to want to have poking through occasionally anyway. Again, it's a cheap way to break up ground and look like you're doing theming. Maybe just a little further out, that one. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. And then we can tie that in. It all looks like it's meant to be like that. That's great. And then do a few more cacti. I'm pretty sure these ones came... Are these from the new game? Western theme? Yeah, no, these are from Western. These look pretty good, though. And again, just decent enough that they could be real. We did say that this park was American, you know, we're kind of going for an Americana look about it. So all of this, I think, is very doable, very growable. And like cheap light theming, but enough that like it's, oh look, they really put an effort in here, you know, like this would be a big selling point, this place. Like it would be like, this would be a big thing when it opened. I do think that comes into a brown though, rather than that blue. There we go. We'll crack this off here, split from building, and we'll move it over to the other sign graveyard. But we do need to move this stuff. I always keep copies of the signs. I don't really know why. I just feel like you never know when you're going to lose one. We'll put them over here. Actually looks quite ominous, caught up over there, doesn't it? Oops, there we go. Okay, let's maybe box in this little thing here. Was it rough brick we used here in the end? Sorry, that one. Rough brick wall, yeah. Let's box this in. We should... There we go. So we should be able to just join... Let's just try that again. In fact, let's just start from a fresh rough brick. Yeah. If we go for here, that's it. We're on the right angle for the wall now. Yeah. We're just not quite on the right angle that way. So we're going to have to kind of judge it. There we go. But I think this brick looks fine at an angle, so I'm not too worried about that. And then all we'll do is, do we use this trim? I think we probably do. Result balcony wall trim 1. So let's get the colour from it. Okay. Resort Resort balconies. That one, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Shrink it right down. Flippy. And then take it up. Okay. And then both of these, which I don't think we have. One scenery, 42 scenery. What have I got highlighted there? Oh, we're in. Okay. So you need to split from building. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Why is it selecting paths every time? So 1 building, 2 scenery pieces. Wait. Oh, it's already done. It's already in the building. Okay. Now, I've got a feeling this won't work. So we'll have to go in and do this separately. Take it high enough to peak. There we go. And then I think we just take this to here and put some rock there, I think. There we go. Down. Okay, that's good. It looks like it's slightly peaking at the bottom there, but I think we'll be okay. Delete that to find there. There we go. It'd be really nice if these tiled. It's not offensive, the lack of tiling here, but yeah, it would be nice. And then there we need to actually start using the 2 meter one. Which is more of a square. At least that changes the pattern up a bit, which is nice. Yeah, that's good. In fact, I think we actually will come in and then select a couple of these, delete them, and copy this one over just so that pattern doesn't get too repetitive. Yeah, that's better. It's this one here. Look, this. I'm just very aware of this one big block there. So what we can also do is turn it around. There we go. That's good. In fact, let's do that here as well. So I mean, really, little things like that. People often ask me, like, "Oh, you know, I feel like your stuff and other YouTubers, it looks so much better than mine." Are very often little things like that you wouldn't even like consciously pick up on can really help a build. You know, like that getting rid of that repetitive nature of stuff can be really good and really helpful. Okay, let's come into these bricks. Where's the... Did we actually use the one I wanted? I didn't think we did actually. Okay. Let's just clear that out. Go back to nature. There's one... Yeah, this one. Oh, the old classic. What I'm thinking we do is use this. As the sort of transition from that brick. Although maybe we do have to carry this over. Definitely have to start again with it if we do. At least it carries the colour. So where is it? Where's the wall? There we go. Yeah, maybe we do actually do that. I think it looks pretty good. It's going to be a little bit of work to kind of carry it all the way around, but I actually think that is pretty solid. It's mostly the tricky bit's going to be getting it all to line up. Looks like it's okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's actually fine. Sure. But then we still want rock underneath it, I think. It's more of a neat transition than the actual border. Yeah, I think that's what we need. Okay. But then the good thing about that now is we could use some of those the ones that are more like panels of custom rock. They have those in this? Yeah. Like this stuff, Jesus, they're huge. But if we just bring them down to an acceptable size, they begin to cover that space pretty well. That's great. Let's see. Something like this. And it's like a taller, thinner rock. I don't think there is really. This one's huge, isn't it? Yeah. Actually, probably have to spend a bit of time building it up at the smaller ones. Or maybe, let's see. Let's see if we can build anything from this. Yeah, that's actually fine. There we go. And then we just need a little bit in there. Oh jeez, I'm all muddled up with that. Let's try. Oops, oh, that was just right. Let's see if we can do that again. There we go. There we are, lovely jubbly. You go in there. Excellent. Yeah, happy with that. That's neat. And then we've got the Gold Rush sign. Yeah, there we go. Well, something I said we'd never do, which is a sign on camera, but there it is. Hopefully that's helped a few people who've been asking about lettering. That's basically the approach I take, and an idea in your head, make bits from it. Yeah, that's good. All right, so yeah, I mean, I'm vibing with Western, so looking forward to building a few Western buildings. I think, like I say, a strip along here that sells like turkey legs and hot dogs, that kind of thing. I think will be pretty cool. All right, thank you so much for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it. Till the next one, be good.